girl. I grew up, born and raised in Santa Barbara. I went to Jos Pueblos High School, so special shout out to all my Chargers out there. But I also have family ties to Santa Barbara High School. I have three cousins, and then my cousin Gabe works at Santa Barbara High School. So the good thing about SBCC is when we all come to SBCC, we're all vaqueros and part of the vaquero family. So your journey with SBCC is going to start today. So today what we're going to be covering is what is SBCC, why come to SBCC, how you're going to get there, and then when all of this happens. So first and foremost, what is SBCC? So we're one of 116 California community colleges. We're different than a four-year university. At Santa Barbara City College, you're able to get an associate degree, certificates, and then we also have transfer programs so that you can transfer to a four-year university. We also have non-credit, our non-credit campus or School of Extended Learning that has a lot of different programs that you can do. We do have the Career Skills Institute as a part of our non-credit campus. But just to be really clear, with non-credit, you're not getting college credit, and that's normally our wake and shot centers. So why SBCC? First and foremost, right, we're going to go into detail with this, but the SBCC promise with our local area high schools, so that's anyone that graduates from high school in our Santa Barbara Community College District, which includes Gaviota through Carpinteria. So if you graduate from a high school in between there, and that includes alternative high schools, that includes home schools and private schools, then you're eligible for the SBCC promise, which means all your required costs are going to be covered when coming to SBCC. So I'm going to go a little bit more into detail a little bit later in our presentation, but that's a huge incentive for our local area students to be able to come to SBCC and not have to worry about costs of textbooks or tuition. We also have 80+ academic majors. Business, communication, engineering, psychology, and biology are our most popular ones. But I just want to let you know, especially me, when I was a Santa Barbara City College student, I didn't know what I wanted to study, and that was perfectly okay. A lot of students come to Santa Barbara City College not knowing what they want to study, but I was able to figure out what I wanted to study while at Santa Barbara City College because I was able to explore, take classes, and figure out what it is that I wanted to study and what my future career would be. Also at Santa Barbara City College, we have amazing student support programs. So as a student, I came into Santa Barbara City College not knowing, one, what I wanted to study or kind of what resources were available to me. I was a first generation student, meaning I was the first in my family to attend college, to go to college, to graduate college. So I really didn't have any idea what I was doing. One of the biggest mistakes I made was not seeking out help from someone, not seeking out student support programs. So if you leave with anything today, just know, take advantage of our student support programs, because these are going to be the programs that are going to help you be successful at Santa Barbara City College. One of these programs is our EOPS department, Extended Opportunities Programs and Services. And this is a really great support service for educationally disadvantaged students. They have things like book grants, they have their own counselors, their own center on campus, your own advisors, and it really just becomes a family for you to be able to help you achieve your academic goals. There's various summer programs that are available. Running Start is a great program that's going to be available for you. And just to note that currently, since we're not on campus, all of these services are going to be provided virtually. So you're still getting that support virtually, maybe not in person, but all these programs I'm going to talk about are virtually available. DSPS is our program, or Disabled Students Programs and Services. This is going to be for students who maybe had an IEP or 504, or maybe have a disability. So again, counselors, support staff, advisors, and a program to give you accommodations so that you can be successful at Santa Barbara City College. Our STEM program, this is for our science, technology, engineering, and math students. They do things like field trips. They connect you with four-year universities that specialize in STEM. You have assigned counselors, advisors. This is going to really be a good program for anyone who's interested in STEM. One of the things that I never did in my college career was study abroad. I would highly recommend that all of you who are interested in traveling to another place, when it's safe to do so, that you look into our study abroad program. They go to places like Italy, they've been to Thailand, England, things like that. They go all over. And not only are you getting college credit to be able to travel, but you're gaining a new experience. So I'd highly encourage you looking into study abroad. Our honors program is going to be for students who really want to go to those really competitive UCs, UCLA, UC Berkeley, or just a competitive four-year university. This is going to really get you that opportunity to be in a cohort model with other honors students and be able to get you that priority consideration when applying to those four-year universities. You do have to apply for the honors program. The application is available online. If you would like the application to apply to the honors program, please email us. Our information will be at the end of the presentation so that we can get you connected with that application for the honors program. Our transfer center. So for those students who are wanting to transfer, you're going to want to go to our transfer center or visit or email, contact our transfer center as soon as you start at Santa Barbara City College. You're not going to really want to wait until the end of your time with us. You're going to want to get in there, see what the requirements are to transfer to whatever four-year university that you're going to want to go to. Our equity program, which also includes our food pantry. So on campus, we would have a food pantry where you are going to be able to go. Let's say that you left your wallet at home, or you just want a snack. There's so many different things that you can go in there, and you just need to bring your ID, and you'll be able to get some food to take home with you, or just some food to have with you on campus. Since we are not on campus now, there is a drive-through that they have once or twice a week that allows you access to our food pantry. For those of you that are wanting to transfer, we do have programs like our transfer admission guarantee. I used our tag program to get into UCSB, which allowed me to get guaranteed admission into UCSB. So UCSB is such a competitive school. We have a list of UC private and out-of-state universities that accept our tag. And what this means is that as long as you're getting the certain GPA that is required of each school, and each school is different, that you are guaranteed admission into that school as long as you have the required GPA and the 60 transferable units that are needed for that school. Now, again, these programs are housed out of our transfer center. So if transfer is your goal, or if you're even thinking about transferring to any four-year university, you're definitely going to want to check out our transfer programs. Academic counseling, by far, I think, is one of the most important services with your time here at Santa Barbara City College. Now, when I was a Santa Barbara City College student, I visited our academic counseling center probably one time, and that was a huge mistake that I made. Again, because I just didn't know our services or resources, or I was too shy or stubborn or prideful to ask for help. But what academic counselors are going to do for you is they're going to set up a student education plan. And what that plan is it's like a roadmap. So it's for you to get to your educational goal. So you're not taking the classes that you don't need for your overall career or educational goal. You're going to want to meet with an academic counselor at least once a semester to make sure that you're on track with that plan. When you change your major or need to change your class schedule, it's really important you check in with academic counseling, because all of our classes do not transfer. So if transfer is ultimately your goal, you're going to want to make sure that you're taking the classes that you need in order to get to that goal. Also, a huge thing that I really recommend for all of our students is academic counselors teach our college success courses, right? It's like our PD 100 class. You're gonna want to look into that. It's our college success and skills classes on how to be a successful college student. Again, please make sure you're visiting academic counseling. One thing I want to point out about our academic counselors is that college academic counselors work very differently than maybe your high school counselors, right? With our academic counseling at Santa Barbara City College, they're primarily concerned about your student education plan, making sure that you're on track with your roadmap for taking the classes you need for transfer or for degree or whatever that is, but they don't sign you up for classes. As a Santa Barbara City College student, it's your responsibility to manage your own schedule, to switch your classes, to sign yourself up for classes. So our academic counselors really just serve as a guide for that. Also at SBCC, we have these amazing CTE programs. So we have over 50 CTE programs, or career technical education courses. And these are things like cosmetology, marine diving, culinary arts, our automotive technology classes, nursing, radiography, sonography fall under these. So if you at all are interested in any of these programs listed here, nursing, culinary arts, most of these need what's called a supplemental application. And what that means is not only are you doing the steps to enrollment that we're going to be talking about today, but you're also going to be doing an additional application to be admitted into these programs because they're specialized. Now, again, if you're interested in these programs, please email us so that we can get you the information you need. One thing that I do want to note about some of these programs are health technologies ones in particular. So that is going to be nursing, radiography, and sonography, is that those particular programs are not designed for you to come directly from high school into them directly, right? With the exception of our CNA program, which is our Certified Nursing Assistant program. All of the other ones, the RN, the LVN, radiography, and sonography, you're going to need to take some prerequisite courses, which means you need some college courses to be admitted into those specific programs. So if you're looking at those, we're really wanting to rely on academic counseling and other student support programs to get us prepared to apply to those programs. But if it's cosmetology or esthetician program, marine diving, automotive technology, or any of the other programs, please contact us so we can get you in touch with the people that are going to help support you getting into those particular programs. The SBCC Promise. So this is such an amazing opportunity for our local high school students. Again, I do want to emphasize that this is for our Santa Barbara Community College districts. I know we have some students on here that may be out of district, but that means that you would have to have graduated from a high school in between Gaviota and Carpinteria, and that includes alternative, private schools, and homeschools as well. If you have any question of if you qualify for the promise, please make sure to follow up with us so that we can give you that information. But what the promise is our Santa Barbara City College Foundation, which also provides scholarships for all students, really wanted to create something so that there wouldn't be any economic barriers for students wanting to come to SBCC. So what they did is they privately raised funds so that our local area high school students could come to Santa Barbara City College and not have to worry about costs. So this is going to cover your tuition, your textbooks, and any required costs that is associated with you coming to Santa Barbara City College. What we're going to talk about now is the eligibility for the SBCC Promise. So first and foremost, you have to complete your secondary education within the Santa Barbara Community College districts, right? As I said, that was the Gaviota between Carpinteria, needing to have graduated from one of the high schools within that district. Number two, we need you to complete financial aid application. Now you can do that one of three ways. Number one is going to be our California College Promise Grant, or CCPG. I know that's very confusing because we have our SBCC Promise and then our CCPG, which is our California College Promise Grant. This is an application that you need to fill out with financial aid. It's available on our financial aid website. Or you can do the FAFSA, which is our free application for federal student aid, which would qualify you for both federal and state aid. So the California College Promise, or CCPG, only qualifies you for state aid, California state aid. And lastly, we have the DREAM Act. So if you're an undocumented student, the DREAM Act is something that you would definitely want to fill out versus the FAFSA or the CCPG. You only need to do one of three of these things. If you're eligible to fill out the FAFSA, my recommendation is you do fill out the FAFSA because that would maximize the aid that you are eligible eligible for. If you have any questions about this, please follow up with us directly or our financial aid office. Number 3, you're going to commit to a full-time student schedule through your duration of being a Santa Barbara City College student under the promise for fall and spring. So what this means is a full-time student is considered 12 units. So that means that you would need to maintain 12 units for your duration of being an Santa Barbara City College Promise student. Now, the only reason that you would not be able to have 12 units is if you were part of our DSPS program and you have the accommodation to have a lower unit than this. So this is typically someone who might have an IEP 504 or perhaps a disability that prevents them from doing the 12 units, right? And so this is something that you would need to work out with our DSPS program to have that accommodation. But if you are not eligible for that, then it would be the full-time student status, which is 12 units per semester. Number 4, enroll at SBCC either the fall or spring term directly out of high school. So what this means for you, the class of 2021, right, is that you would need to enroll at SBCC either in the fall of 2021 or the spring of 2022 in order to be eligible for the promise. So you can't have a gap year. It is a gap semester. So if you graduate in June, you need to either enroll, as I said, fall of 2021 or spring of 2022. If you wait until the semesters after that, so summer of 2022 or fall of 2022, that you're going to be ineligible for the promise. So just keep that in mind. If you want to take advantage of the promise, you're going to need to enroll in one of those 2 semesters. Number 5, complete a student education plan or an SEP. This is what you do with an academic counselor. It's actually part of your steps to enrollment as a first-time student. So all students will be doing this as a part of their steps to enrollment. And again, this is the plan or the roadmap that's going to get you to your overall educational goal. So it's not enough that you just set up that education plan once. You do want to revisit that. So that takes us to number 6, which is participate in academic counseling at least 1 session per semester. The Santa Barbara City College Foundation really wanted to set it up for you to not create extra barriers, for you to just be doing the things that we want all of our students to be doing. And all students should be participating in academic counseling at least once per semester, because you want to revisit your SEP, you want to revisit your roadmap, because things change. Maybe your major changes, maybe you want to add an additional certificate, maybe you want to change your schedule completely and do a different focus, and that's okay, but you want to be checking in with your academic counselor to make sure that you're on track with that plan. And lastly, to remain eligible, you need to remain in academic good standing. And what that means is that you're not dipping below that 2.0 GPA. And this is a requirement for all of our Santa Barbara City College students, is that we want them maintaining that good academic standing, which is a 2.0 GPA. Now, if you dip below that, that doesn't mean you're automatically kicked out of the promise. There is something that you can do if that happens. They'll follow up with you, kind of give you information on how we can resolve and get you above that 2.0 GPA. But I'm going to talk about that on the next slide. So these are common myths and conceptions, right? SBCC promise say what? Like, you want to give me money to go to school? I'm sure there must be a catch, right? The only catch is you have to do your part. These are common myths and conceptions or misconceptions. Is that number 1, am I automatically signed up for the promise? So no. So once you graduate from a local high school, that does not automatically mean that you are signed up for the promise. You do have to apply with us. And then once you submit that application, you will go into your pipeline account and sign yourself up for the promise at the SBCC Foundation website. And we do all this with you in our workshops. You can do it alone as well, but we just want to make sure that you know that you need to physically sign yourself up on the website for the promise, opting in using your pipeline account. Do I have to pay back the money if, right? There are various reasons. Maybe you think you have to pay back the money if you don't get a degree, if you don't transfer, any of those things. So no, you don't have to pay back the money as long as you meet all requirements to maintain the SBCC Promise student status. And what this means is that you have to hold up your end of the bargain, right? All of those things to keep you eligible. maintaining the GPA, meeting with a counselor, making sure you turn in your financial aid stuff every semester or every year. You're going to want to do all of those things. And if for some reason you don't do one, you will be notified by the promise and say, hey, you didn't do this. This is the deadline you had to do this by. And then this is why you were dropped from the promise. And you would then have a balance. So it's not necessarily paying the money back. It's that if you do not do the requirements that are the minimum requirements to be eligible and to remain in the promise, then that's when you lose your eligibility status. So keeping your promise, again, this is, you have to hold up your end of the bargain, right? The Santa Barbara City College Foundation is giving you this amazing opportunity to not have to worry about paying tuition, textbooks, and fees. And those things can be expensive. You know, I know a lot of students with a math book alone can cost over $200. So we need to make sure that you're keeping up your end. To remain eligible, just to reemphasize, you've got to maintain that 2.0 GPA, meet with your counselor once a semester, making sure you're applying for financial aid every year, and then also commit to that full-time schedule. Some helpful tips for you guys as promise students is check your pipeline email daily, right? You're assigned a pipeline email from Santa Barbara City College, and you're going to want to check that, add it to your phone, add it to your computer so that you're getting those emails daily, because the Santa Barbara City College Foundation and the Promise office will email you if you're missing something. They're going to give you that chance to get it in. If you don't meet an eligibility requirement, they're going to tell you you need to get it in by this date. If for whatever reason you miss all of those and you're no longer eligible for the promise, you can submit an appeal. And that means you're basically saying, I turned in something late, or now I'm meeting with my counselor even though it was past the deadline, or I went below that 2.0 GPA. The SBCC promise does not want to make it more difficult for you for these things, but we do want to make sure that you're accountable to this investment in you and your future. So if you do need to submit the appeal, make sure that you're doing it. We're happy to help you do that, go through that process as well. When you're a Santa Barbara City College Promise student, your balance should always be 0. I've worked with so many students who are like, oh, well, I had a balance, I'm not sure, and so I didn't pay it, or I didn't take care of it. If you have a balance, that means something is wrong and that we need to help fix that, okay? So that means either you didn't sign up for the promise correctly, or you might have been dropped from the promise for some reason. But just know that if you believe you signed up, or you know you signed up and your balance is not 0, please reach out to us so that we can help resolve that. Do not wait until the last minute for all of this, you guys. This is so important because we want to help you, but there are certain deadlines that we need to adhere to. So we don't want to make sure that we're waiting to the last minute. This is when checking your pipeline email is going to be super, super important. And then also contact the Promise with any questions or concerns. You know, the Promise staff is great. You can contact our staff and we're going to connect you to them. And they're really good at getting back and getting you, helping resolve any issue that you might have. So here's the SBCC Promise contact. We are going to post this on our website for you to have this presentation, but if you want to take a picture of it so that you will have their contact information, they can be reached by email, phone. They do have office hours. I think those are being held virtually, and you can make an appointment with the Promise staff by visiting their website here. Okay, so now that we've covered the Promise, you're excited to go to SBCC, you're wondering, how do I get to SBCC, right? So we're gonna go ahead and cover our steps to enrollment. So in order to come to SBCC in the fall of 2021, you're going to follow these steps to enrollment, and we're gonna go through each one of them and tell you what we're gonna be doing and what we're gonna provide so that you can complete each one of these steps. So step 1 is apply. All of our application is going to be online, and it's going to be found on that link there. What's really important to note for the application is I realize that some of you might have been dual enrollment students, which means that you've previously applied and have an open CCC apply account, right? That's fantastic, great that you're doing dual enrollment. Now you are going to apply again, but you're going to apply as a first time to college student, right? So if you've applied for dual enrollment in the past, that's great, but we need to have you fill out the application as a first time to college students for the fall of 2021. So If you have your Open CCC Apply account, we're going to want to use that same account, but you're going to be doing a separate and new application for that. We're going to be holding virtual workshops, and they're going to be held in February and March to help you go through this application process, and we're going to do it over Zoom. You have to register in advance for these workshops, just like you did today. So contact your school for specific dates, or visit our website for workshop dates and how to sign up. And a little bit later in the presentation, there's going to be a page where you can have a QR code that you can follow that to our website. But just know that we have on our website a local high school outreach page that has each high school, all of their names, and all of the information about their workshops that we're going to have for you all. So this is our first step, is we need to get you to apply. Number 2 is pipeline and promise. Again, for our students that maybe are dual enrollment students, great that you may already have a pipeline. We just need to get you that application in. But for those students who are first time applying, you're going to need to activate your pipeline. These are the steps to do this. Again, if you come to our application workshop, we're going to do the application and trying to get you into pipeline all in that same day, along with signing up for the promise, because as soon as you can get into your pipeline, you can sign up for the promise. You won't be able to sign up for the promise until you have a pipeline and your application is processed with us. So take a screenshot of this. This is also going to be on our website, and we're going to help guide you through this. But your step 2 is going to be activating your pipeline and signing up for the promise. Step 3, check your placement. So one great thing that happened a few years ago is we no longer have to do assessment, right? So we used to bring you guys all up to Santa Barbara City College or go to your schools, and you would have to take a math and English assessment. Well, thankfully, we don't have to do that anymore. We use multiple measures, including your high school grade point average and coursework, to place you into math and English. So this is where in your application, there's going to be a section for your GPA, the highest level of math and English you've ever taken. It's going to be super important that that's accurate information, and that we have access to your or you have access to your transcript so that you can put that information in there. Because this is how ultimately we're getting your placement. So all you have to do is go onto your pipeline and make sure that you have a math and English placement. If for some reason you do not have a placement, you'll have access in your pipeline to what's called a high school data form, which is a form that's going to ask additional information so that we can place you. So the only action that needs to happen when you check your placement is to making sure that you have an actual placement in your pipeline. Step 4 is online orientation. So we do have an online orientation where you're going to be able to virtually explore our campus, learn about our student support programs, and ultimately it's going to teach you how to be a successful Vaquero. You're going to complete the online orientation. You can do it via your pipeline, and it's an interactive quiz with videos. One thing I want to note about the online orientation is that you're just not going to want to breeze through it, right? And just kind of go through the motion. This does have really important information that helps you be a successful student. Other students I've seen, come to me and ask these questions, and they'll say, nobody ever told me this. And then I'll ask them, did you complete the orientation? And they're like, yes. And I say, well, the information was in the orientation. So you're going to want to make sure that you're paying attention to this orientation, because there's some great information that's going to help you be successful. So this is ideal to complete by April, so that you can move on to your other steps to enrollment, because these do need to be done in order, and you cannot move on to the next step until you've completed your online orientation. So you're going to want to kind of keep it in the back of your head that you're wanting to complete this online orientation by April. Step 5, virtual class planning. So as I said, meeting with an academic counselor is going to be key to your success at Santa Barbara City College. This is part of the steps to enrollment. It's part of a requirement for the SBCC promise. You're not going to actually be able to physically register for classes until you complete this class planning. So what you're going to do is you're going to sign up for a session via Zoom, and you have to register in advance. So these will take place, or you will be able to sign up sometime in March, and they're going to take place April through June, right? They're gonna have multiple sessions so that you can come on and be able to meet with an academic counselor, set up that education plan to get you set up so that we can register you for classes. So what this is it's a plan. They're gonna tell you, okay, for your academic goal, we're going to need you to sign up for Math 117, English 110, a communications class, right? And then what you'll do with that plan is then go to our class schedule and register yourself for those classes, because we offer maybe like 150 Math 117s. So one thing I want to point out about class planning is you are setting up your plan to pick your classes. This is not you actually signing up for classes. This often is confusing for some students because they think, oh, I sat with my counselor and we selected our classes, but that's not actually you signing up for classes. That's picking your plan for your classes, and then you go ahead and build your schedule. Visit this website, look for the local high school information and click on that. There's an FAQs on there that's going to help guide you on how you're going to sign up for class planning. Step 6, you've finally reached the end where you're going to be able to register for your classes. So it's super important to note that in Pipeline, you're going to register yourself for classes. You're responsible for your own class schedule. The great thing about this is if you're not a morning person, don't take morning classes. If you'd rather be taking them at night, or maybe you work during the day and so you need to take night classes, you get to build your own schedule. But with this also means you kind of add yourself, you drop yourself from classes, you're responsible for your own schedule. But a team of SBCC staff will be on hand to help you through this process, to guide you through the registration. And we will have registration workshops that are going to be held via Zoom. You will need to register for these workshops in advance, just like you did today. So make sure you sign up with your school directly or see the dates on our local high school website. This is where you can grab your phone, pull it out. If you take a picture or just hover your camera over that QR code there, that's going to take you to our local high school website that has a lot of great information that's going to help support you through this process. It will also have each of the high schools listed there for dates of the workshops and then when you're able to register for those workshops. So make sure that you're checking this website. It's going to be really helpful for dates, information, and all of that. You can go ahead and hover over or visit that website there. And the QR code's at the end too, so in case you didn't have your phone or you need to do it later, it's going to be posted on our website. Priority registration. So great thing is you guys are SBCC VIPs. You get to register on May 12th, which is before any other first-time student, right? This is so exciting because you get to take advantage of being the first-time students to register, and classes, there's just going to be more classes. You can have your ideal schedule. You don't have to worry about classes being full or getting ad codes or things like that. But it's really important to note that you have to clear all of your registration holds in order to take advantage of priority registration. So that means that you need to apply, check your placement, do online orientation, and do class planning, ideally before May 12th, so that you can take advantage of priority registration. Now, I want to be very clear that if for some reason you decide or you don't do any of this before May 12th, that doesn't mean you can't come to Santa Barbara City College. It's not a hard deadline of everything needs to be done before May 12th or else you just can't come to Santa Barbara City College. You can actually register to Santa Barbara City College up until the first 2 weeks of the semester. So that would be in August for the fall of 2021. I don't recommend that at all. That creates more stress. You're going to need to get ad codes from professors. Classes are full. Your schedule's going to be harder to do. And so don't make your life a little bit easier and don't stress yourself out. Just know that you have to do all of these things by May 12th so that you get that priority registration. You sign up for your classes and you're not having to worry anything until you have to show up for classes in fall of 2021. If you have questions, please reach out so that we can help support you in getting through all of your steps to enrollment. And lastly, I want to point out that these are all physical holds on your account. So you cannot register until you've applied, until your placement is done, until you've completed orientation, and until you've cleared class planning. So if you have all those done, then you're cleared to register. If not, or if you just have one thing left, it physically will not allow you to register. Check your email. I cannot emphasize this enough. SBCC students are given a pipeline email that's run through Google. Make sure that you're checking that email. Put it to your phone. Put it on your computers, because all SBCC communication, once you start applying, is going to come through that. So many students I know have missed opportunities for financial aid, for jobs, for internships, for their professors, all of that, because they're not checking their email. And this is particularly important for SBCC Promise students, because this is where the Promise is emailing you. So making sure that you're in the habit of checking your pipeline email daily. Signing day, this is super exciting. We want you to be really excited to come to SBCC. We want you to be proud to be a Vaquero. So Liz Stein, who's our Q&A lady here, she put this together. It's an event that we wanted to have for you. We do want to let you know that it is tentatively scheduled due to COVID. We're not sure what's going to happen, but for Saturday, May 22nd, where you can come, we can celebrate you coming to SBCC. You'll get one of these Vaquero Pride shirts, which are really, really cool. And so please keep in mind to participate in this. And updates will be sent via social media, via email, via your pipeline email. So that's super important to check. And also through your high school, we're going to get that information to you to come to signing day so that you can participate, so we can celebrate you. I know it's been a really tough time. This has not been kind of a normal senior year that you expected, and so we want to celebrate you guys coming to SBCC. So keep in mind signing day, which will be tentatively May 22nd. Follow us on Instagram. We're going to have a lot of things on there. Win prizes. You're going to be able to get SBCC swag that we'll send out to you guys. We'll have different, competitions on there. Special shout outs from some celebrities, maybe local celebrities as well. So make sure you're adding us on Instagram at SBCC_welcome for any updates on there about all of our events, all of our workshops, and helpful tips and fun things for SBCC and becoming a Vaquero. We want you more than anything to let you know that you're not alone in this. As I said, I went to SBCC and then transferred to UCSB, and it was a super difficult road for me because I made it more difficult for myself by not asking for help. So please don't be like me. Please reach out. Please ask us for help. We are here to support you through this enrollment process. It's going to be a transition from high school to college, and we want to help you through that transition. So never hesitate to contact us. Students always tell me all the time, like, oh, I'm like bothering you. You're never bothering me. I'm always happy to help you. And our contact information is going to be on the next slide so that you can always contact us if you need that help and need that support. We got you. Contact us, Mary Lou, Chrissy, Liz, or Elizabeth, and then our enrollment services general information. Please email us. It's going to be the best way to contact us. My email's on my phone. I'm constantly checking my email. Want to make sure that we're supporting you guys. The QR code, take a picture of that, bookmark that site, because on that site too is a chat feature where you're going to be able to interact with some of our college representatives if you have any questions or you need support. So take a picture of this, save it, and reach out to us if you have any other questions or concerns, and we're super happy to help you. We are excited that you're with us today. This is going to kick off your journey to SBCC, and that's it. And I don't know if we have any questions, Liz, that we can answer.
We have a lot of questions.
We have a lot of questions. Okay.
Yes, which is great. We love questions.
We love questions. Let's get the questions.
And also, just to give you a heads up, Sabrina Barajas, who is our high school academic counselor lead, is here until 1 o'clock. And so she may be able to answer some of the academic counseling questions.
Great.
So one of the first things that came up is how do I get into DSPS / what if I have an IEP or a 504 plan currently? What do I do?
Great, that's a great question. So for DSPS, there is an intake that you need to do. There's an application, and you do need to submit some supporting documentation. It's a very quick application. And then what will happen is DSPS will reach out to you to set up an intake appointment. And then they'll go over whatever accommodations you might need. So my best recommendation for you to do is to email one of us that's listed here in the contact and just be like, hey, Christy or whoever, I need the contact to DSPS, or I need the application to DSPS, and we'll email it over to you and get that to you ASAP. I would recommend not doing that until you have an application on file. So you're first and foremost, you're going to want to have the application on file, because then that's your identifier, right? You're going to have your K number, which is your student ID number. And first and foremost, get the application on file, and then we can get you applying to any other student support programs.
Great. Can students do, you talked a lot about all of the great and wonderful student support services that we offer at Santa Barbara City College. Can they do more than one program at a time?
Absolutely. You should do more than one program if you're qualified to do more than one program. That's what they're there for. It's just all the support. So you can definitely take advantage of more than one program.
Great. What if we're also applying to four-year schools?
Great question. And I meant to say that, and I didn't. So we know that you're applying to four-year schools, right? And that your decision might change. And we're okay with being that backup school, but I would highly recommend go through the steps to enrollment, right? In that ideal time before May 12th for priority registration, because by May 12th, right, you should have your decisions coming in, and as long as you could even register for classes, but then you'll need to drop yourself from classes. But if you get to a point where you do all the steps to enrollment and then you just don't register, it's like no harm, no foul. You never came here, nothing happened. Even if you did register, it would just involve you dropping your classes and making sure that you clear all those classes out so that you're not on record of being on rosters. So please apply with us, get through those steps to enrollment. Do not wait until like maybe June or August or July when you've made those decisions, because it'll just make it a little bit more stressful on you. So if you're applying to those four universities, still go through the motions with us. And then if ultimately by May 12th or after you decide not to register for classes and go to a four-year university, congratulations, that's amazing. But we want to make sure that you're getting through those steps to enrollment and not waiting till the last minute.
Great. So this is, somebody asked, how do we know which four-year schools we can transfer to? And basically that's something that you can do one of two things. You can talk with your academic counselor, because not every school is going to have your major or career path that you want to go into. So that's something you'll investigate a little bit more with your academic counselor or with our transfer center help. But there was concern of why the CSU system is not in our transfer guarantee program.
So the CSU is not in our transfer program is because a lot of our students do get admitted into CSU systems already. Like we have a high admittance rate into the CSU systems. So they're not as necessary as the UCs or some of the private schools. And the transfer center would be able to provide more information on that as well.
Great. Opting into the Santa Barbara City College Promise on the SBCC application. How do you do that?
So you do not do it on the application. The way you sign up for the Promise is you first must apply to Santa Barbara City College through OpenCCC Apply. So have an application on file for fall of 2021. And then when you're in our system and you have a pipeline account, that way we know that you graduated from this high school because that information, your class of 2021, and then you will go into the Santa Barbara City College Promise website, which is a separate website, and you will opt into that. You will sign, and if you come to our workshops, we will do that, or if you email us, we'll send you the link directly to that website. But it's a sign up and opt in and submit, and it'll say, congratulations, you are eligible for the Promise. Now, for some reason, if it doesn't say that, make sure you reach out to us because that means something is wrong. Anyone who graduates this school or class of 2021 and from a local area high school, then you are eligible. Now, it may just mean that you made a mistake on your application. This is particularly happens a lot with San Marcos high school students because in the applications, it's San Marcos Senior High in Santa Barbara, California, but there is another San Marcos High School, I believe, in San Diego. Yes. And so you want to make sure that you are picking the create one, because the correct one, because it will ultimately impact your promise of being able to sign up for the promise.
I just want to make a quick general statement because we had a few questions about this. If you are a student who is looking at one of the CTE programs that Christy talked about, say nursing, marine diving, culinary, EMT, one of the CTE programs in which there's a supplemental application, I would really recommend that you email me directly. My email address is the third one on the list of the contact us, Elizabeth Stein, so EA Stein at. With those questions, they're just too complicated and too individualistic to answer here. Okay. Let's see.
I do want to point out, Liz, sorry, one thing I'm going to note is that we do have another session today that's going to be at, is it 3 or 3:30? 3 p.m. It's another webinar session in case you want to attend again, in case you want to refer a friend or someone else that didn't have the opportunity to come today. And then you can sign up on our website. So if you do that QR code, go to our local high school website and then click on the high schools. It'll show you the links for the webinars on there, and they can come at 3 o'clock.
Great. So where you can apply to the honors program, that would be via our website. I would go to the website and just type in honors. It gives you the steps and the application there.
You can email us too.
Yes, exactly.
And then you will not be able to apply to the honors program, I believe, until you apply, and you'll have to submit high school transcripts because there is a GPA requirement for that. Again, if you have specific questions or need specific links, just email us and we'll shoot them over to you. So you have them.
Had a few questions about, do I do the FAFSA first or do I do the SB or financial aid paperwork? Because it could be the FAFSA, the CCBG, or the DREAM Act. What do I do first, that or the SBCC application?
So you can do the FAFSA. The FAFSA is open now. And the deadline, the California priority deadline is March 2nd. It's March 2nd every year. It never changes. So my recommendation is you do it now. And then when you're doing the FAFSA or the DREAM Act, you're selecting Santa Barbara City College as a potential college that you might go to, so that it sends that information to us. So if you've already completed the FAFSA and didn't include Santa Barbara City College, it's very easy. You can log back in and go ahead in there and choose Santa Barbara City College. And then the CCPG itself is separate. It's actually like a PDF form that you fill out and then submit to our financial aid office. You should not do the CCPG in particular until you've applied with SBCC, because it does ask for your student IDK number. And just as a side note, if you do the FAFSA, you don't need to do the CCPG. The CCPG is included within the FAFSA. But if you choose not to do the FAFSA, then you should do the CCPG or the DREAM Act.
Can I apply for the promise, but take it not to SBCC, but to a 4-year directly?
No, the SBCC promise is only for Santa Barbara City College.
For the SBCC promise, do I need to qualify for financial aid or just complete the paperwork for financial aid?
You just need to complete the paperwork. You do not need to qualify for that.
Hang on just a second.
No worries.
If I have a green card, do I still complete the FAFSA application?
That is a fantastic question.
Yes.
If you could email me directly, because that's a question we need to take up to financial aid.
They would, Christy.
Okay. Oh, I thought you meant yes. Okay.
No. Yes, they would. There is a place where you will submit. They will ask for your alien registration number, but you will apply under the FAFSA.
Perfect. Liz got that. Liz has an answer.
Let's see. And I know you kind of went over this a little bit, but when will they start the steps to enrollment, or when can they start the application and then the following steps?
Great question. So the application for fall of 2021 is now available. So you could go to our website now, do the application yourself. There's also great resources or application if you want to email us, such as like application packets, application, is there application video on there? Yeah.
Yes.
Application video, and great resources. So please email us so we can get you that information. But the fall of 2021 application is available now. Just to be clear, your promise does not start until fall of 2021, right? So if you decide to take summer 2021 classes, summer one, you're actually going to be considered a dual enrollment student because you've not fully graduated high school yet. And then summer two, if you want to take classes, then you can totally take classes, but they would not be covered by the promise. It does not start until fall of 2021. So as soon as you do the application, it kicks off the steps. You could complete the application yourself. You could do the online orientation, check your placement, but class planning will not be offered for students for the fall of 2021 until later.
How do I know if I have been awarded or gotten any kind of financial aid?
Great question. So when you submit your FAFSA, DREAM Act, CCPG, that information goes for processing to our financial aid office, and then they develop a financial aid award letter for you. Those award letters will not come out until a little bit later though, so it's not automatic. You're just checking in your pipeline for that financial aid award letter. And if you email us, we can give you the steps on how to check your pipeline or how to check your pipeline for your financial aid award letter.
I signed up for the SB Scholarship Foundation's general scholarship. Can I still apply to the promise?
So with the Scholarship Foundation, they will not award you money if you're coming to Santa Barbara City College. That's my understanding, because you are going to go to have the costs covered through Santa Barbara City College. I would advise you to talk to the Santa Barbara Scholarship Foundation to see what their requirements are. But last I knew that was the case, is that they would not give you scholarships to come to Santa Barbara City College because all your costs are going to be covered with the SBCC promise.
If I'm a DSPS student who is eligible for the promise, do I still need to have a full-time schedule?
So if you qualify with DSPS to have an accommodation for lower amount of units, that's something that you will talk with DSPS. They will provide that accommodation for you, and then you'll be considered a full-time student with a lower unit. So it may be like 8 or whatever you guys decide with DSPS, but you'll still be considered a full-time student even though you're not taking the 12 units, because it's an accommodation to help you be more successful.
I had a question of where can we find our pipeline email? Your pipeline email is your pipeline username at pipeline.sbcc.edu. You would find that if you logged on to your pipeline account. If you're having issues with your pipeline account, please email one of us directly.
Mm-hmm.
I had another question. When will students meet one-on-one with an academic counselor?
Perfect. Just to address the question before, I want to make it very clear that your Open CCC Apply username and password is completely different than your pipeline email and password. So you're not using the same thing. Open CCC Apply is run through the Chancellor's office. It's not run through SBCC. We use that along with a lot of other California community colleges. And so you're going to want to make sure that you separate the information, and you will not have pipeline information until you do the application. The application is what kicks off the pipeline. For those who have been previous dual enrollment students, you might have a pipeline already, and that's why it's super important to use your Open CCC information previously and not create because what might happen is you might create like duplicate accounts for yourself. But if that happens, or you're having trouble accessing your pipeline, email any of us, use that enrollment services, or use our chat feature. And then you said the question before, Liz, I'm sorry.
When will we meet one-on-one with an academic counselor?
So you will do that during class planning. They are sessions, so it's one-on-one, but it is with about like 15 to like I think 20 or 30 other students as well. And then that happens, I think Sabrina, if you're still on here, correct me if I'm wrong. That is going to happen in April through June.
Yes. I think she
Yes.
might have had to leave.
Okay.
Yes. And those, you know, that's why it's important for you guys to come to the workshops as well as to the monthly visits for your high school that we're doing virtually via Zoom sessions. You can email me directly to get more information about that or look at the website.
Yeah, let me just, actually, class planning, March 31st is the first one through June 2nd. So there are specific sessions for our local high school students. You can sign up for those specifically. But I believe you can sign up even before March 31st. And that happens in your Starfish on our website. And again, we do not expect you to know all this information or remember this even from this one presentation. So it's important to contact us like, hey, Christy, like, how do I sign up for class planning? Or go on the chat, how do I sign up for class planning, so that we can direct you to those steps of how you sign up.
If I am a Promise eligible student, how does that work with study abroad, or if I want to do study abroad as far as cost?
So with costs, right, if you're a Promise student, it covers your tuition and any required costs, but travel, like getting actually there, is not a required cost. And this is where financial aid comes into play, right? Like if you apply for financial aid and you get a grant, you can use that money to apply or for a plane ticket or for like housing and like food while you're there. So it's mainly with study abroad. You have to cover your own plane ticket and I think like housing and food. It's separate.
And where would they find information about those programs, Christy?
Study abroad?
Yes.
Our website, you can go to sbcc.edu, do the search button, type in study abroad and it'll come up, or just email us and we'll provide those links for you.
Christy, what do I do if I forgot my pipeline password and username?
So if you forgot your information, what you're going to want to do is go to the pipeline login, and down below it's going to say find account. And you're going to click find account. It's going to ask you for your name, date of birth, and then we recommend you use your OpenCCC ID if you have that, or you can use the last 4 digits of your social security number. But since the social security number is not a requirement for the application, you may not have put it in there. And so that's why we ask that you do OpenCCC ID. So you just click find account. And then just want a side note too, the QR code, if you just take a picture of it or hover your phone over it, it's going, you can send it to your friends. You can save it for later. Put it in your email and then it'll take you directly to our local high school page. And then also a live chat that we have Monday through Friday, various business hours. I think Tuesday and Wednesday we go until 6. The other days minus Friday, we go until 4. So Fridays it's 8 to 1.
Chrissy, how long is school projected to be virtual? And will we be eventually transitioning back to on-campus classes?
Great question. So for spring, currently this semester, we are primarily online. It is undetermined for future semesters, I think, because the situation is a kind of a daily developing thing. We have not been given information as to when we will return to, or classes will be provided on campus. So I guess it's like a stay tuned, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. But follow us on our Instagram and then maybe we'll post
you'll there. Find out.
You'll find out. You'll be first to know.
What kind of housing does SBCC offer?
Great question. So SBCC is a community college and we do not provide housing on campus. We do have housing partners that we provide information so that you can select the housing that is best for you. And that may be apartment, dorm style living. All the dorm style is private. And so it has nothing to do with SBCC. You go and apply directly with them and all of that. So if you want information on housing, go ahead and email us, contact us, and we'll get that information to you. We have it on the website that provides resources for housing for SBCC students.
Chrissy, can you just talk quickly about, if I'm a dual enrollment student currently, what do I need to do? Am I already officially going to be a student at SBCC? What do I need to do?
Great question. So if you're currently a dual enrollment student, that means you are a high school student taking college classes, right? Now, everything that we talked about today, you have to do. There are different steps and different requirements for coming as a first time to college student. And so you need to do all the steps, which is application, orientation, class planning, checking your placement, registering yourself for classes. You will go through all of those steps because now you're moving from a high school student taking college classes to a full-fledged college student. So you do need to take those steps. It doesn't automatically transfer over. We need you to get an application on file for fall of 2021 and then go through all of those steps along with everybody else.
I got a lot of questions about details about going over IGETC as well as specific majors and what classes we recommend. Those are things that you will go over during and get questions answered during class planning, and can also then ask questions of your academic counselor as well.
Yes. So also, if you want to look at the IGETC, we're happy to send, it's on our website. It'll just kind of give you a general view of what an IGETC is, but as Liz said, all of any specific major, transfer plans, academic goals, that goes into class planning, and that's why you have a student education plan, or the SEP, which is like your roadmap for your time here at Santa Barbara City College.
How do I apply for EOPS?
Great question. There is an application or intake process. So you would get in contact with EOPS. And again, this is after you have applied. You do need to have financial aid information on file as well. So it would be DREAM Act, FAFSA, or CCPG along, or just like the SBCC promise, in order to do your intake for EOPS. And you can contact them directly or email us and we'll get you in contact with them so that you can do the application for EOPS and for their summer programs. So there is a Running Start program that is specifically for high school students. And we're unsure if it's going to be held virtually or in person. So just go ahead and email us and we'll connect you with them.
Currently taking an AP class, not going to get my AP test results until July. What does that mean for me?
So with the AP test, the only thing that it potentially would impact would be the classes that you're going to sign up for, or like what credit you get for that specific AP test. So what I would recommend is that once all that happens, you send over your AP test score information to SBCC, and that's on our web. You can email us. We'll give you that link that gives you the steps on how to send that information to SBCC, and then contact an academic counselor to see how that credit specifically will play out for transfer plans or credit at SBCC. So you can, during class planning, you can tell them this scenario, and they'll let you know how it would impact you, whether you get the credit or not.
Christy, somebody's asking if you could please go over the dual enrollment with statement. If you're dual enrollment currently, how does that affect you? What do you need to do?
So the fact that you are a dual enrollment student basically just means that you are coming with college credit, right? But you still need to go through all the steps to enrollment that we covered today, just like every other student. So you were a dual enrollment student previously, which means you have a pipeline, right? You have college credit, but you still need to apply. You still need to do the orientation. You still need to do placement. You still need to do class planning in order to be able to be a full-fledged student with us. So the main difference, right, is you're going to be filling out the application, and you're filling it out as a first-time college student. So right now, as a dual enrollment student, you mark, right, when you select your student status, you mark high school student taking college classes. For the fall of 2021 application, you're going to be marked first time to college after attending high school, and you would go through the same steps to enrollment. So basically, you still have to go through all the steps, right? It doesn't mean that you are excused from doing any of the steps because you were a dual enrollment student. Will have a college credit coming with you. When you're doing class planning, they'll see that you've taken college classes, and they'll recommend do your student education plan based upon the incoming or the credits that you already have existing, but you still need to do all the steps to enrollment if you were a dual enrollment student.
Where am I going to find information about the dates and times, et cetera, for the workshops that are happening in February and March?
That QR code, if you follow it or if you email us, we'll send you the link to our local high school website. And on that website there, it has all of the dates and how you register for the workshops. Also, your high schools will have that information. So you're like college and career centers, they've sent that information out just like you got the information for this particular workshop. So check your emails or email us or go use that QR code, put your camera over that, go to our local high school website and all that information's on there.
Christy, if I can't remember my pipeline account information, can I just create another one?
No, please do not do that. So this goes back to more Open CCC Apply. So with Open CCC Apply, if you don't remember that information, please don't create a new one, because what that does is it creates multiple identities for you, right? So we don't want that to happen, because it's just an additional step of things that we need to do in clearing up getting those accounts merged, and that takes time. And so please don't create yourself a whole different account if you already had one. That we can troubleshoot on how to get into those accounts with you. So contact us if you're having issue getting into your pipeline account. We're happy to do that with you, but please don't create more accounts for yourself.
Christy, if I am awarded money from FAFSA or DREAM Act, when am I going to get that money?
So if you're awarded any financial aid, it is distributed like 2 weeks prior to the start of the semester. So for fall of 2021, it will be 2 weeks prior to the start of fall of 2021 when you're awarded that money, and it is given to you. It's given to you either via check, and it's sent to the address that we have on file for you, or it's sent direct deposit, but you have to go into pipeline and set up direct deposit. Highly recommend doing direct deposit, and we're happy to guide you through those steps to set up your direct deposit. If not, a check is sent to you.
Do I need to do two separate applications, one for summer 2021 and one for fall 2021?
Great question. So this is a little tricky. If you, as I said, if you want to take summer classes, for our summer 1 session, you will be considered a dual enrollment student because you're still in high school and haven't graduated yet, right? So for summer 1, you'd be doing dual enrollment. For summer 2, you could apply. The promise would not cover that. You would have to cover that yourself or apply for financial aid. And if you sign up for summer and do the application and you would be required to do the steps to enrollment that I talked about today, because then you'd be considered graduated from high school and first time to college, and sign up for classes, then you do not need to do a separate application for fall, because then you're considered a continuing student. Now, if you do the summer application, you do the steps to enrollment, and then you decide not to take a class, because you weren't a student, you didn't physically take classes, then yes, you would need to do the fall 2021 too. So that's where it gets a little tricky. Reach out to us so we can kind of dig a little deeper with that with you. But again, if you sign up for summer 1 classes or summer 2 classes, you actually take them and complete those classes, then you will not need to do a fall of 2021 application. And then summer applications are available right now as well, summer and fall of 2021. Liz, any other questions?
Sorry, I forgot I was unmuted.
I thought I froze. I was like, oh no.
I'm just looking. Some of these we've already covered. Can I switch my major?
Yes, you can switch your major at any time. If you select a major on the application, then you want to change it, we can update it in your pipeline account. Anytime you switch your major, I highly recommend you talk to an academic counselor, because the class or academic goal in general, if you change your goal or your major, you're going to want to talk to an academic counselor, because we want to make sure the classes that you are in your student education plan and that you're currently taking or may be taking are aligned with that academic goal. So yes, you can change your major at any time.
So there's a little bit of confusion about dual enrollment versus first time to college and whether or not students need to make a new pipeline account.
Yeah. So if you're currently a dual enrollment student right now, you're taking dual enrollment classes or have in the past, you would already have a pipeline account, right? That pipeline account was created through your OpenCCC apply. So it starts at OpenCCC apply. So if you already have an OpenCCC apply because you've previously applied as a dual enrollment student, we want you to use that same OpenCCC apply so that information is in sync with your current pipeline. Because what happens is if you create yourself another OpenCCC apply because you do not remember the login information, that will not align with your current pipeline account, and it's going to create another account for you. And that means that if you try to log into that account, that will not be associated with the current application you have on file. So it's super important that if you previously applied with Santa Barbara City College, even if you didn't take dual enrollment classes, but you simply applied, you try and troubleshoot getting back into that OpenCCC apply account. Now, I want to be very clear with OpenCCC apply is run through the Chancellor's office. And Santa Barbara City College does not have access to troubleshooting how to get into your pipeline or to your OpenCCC apply account. They have a helpline on there. We're happy to guide you through on how to get that help to access your OpenCCC apply. But you're going to want to make sure that you're not creating multiple accounts in OpenCCC apply. Now, in an ideal world, you'll use your OpenCCC apply that you've previously had, do an application for fall of 2021 as a first time to college student, and then that will sync up to your current pipeline account. And then all that information will then be updated in your pipeline account for fall of 2021. So it is possible that, right, you're still a dual enrollment student, and that will reflect for spring of 2021. And then that information will change come fall of 2021. And if you have any questions, just email us. I know it can be super confusing in regards to that, but we want to make sure that we're as clear and as helpful as possible when getting you through this.
Yeah, and I just want to reiterate, I've gotten a lot of questions about, I don't know my CCC apply information, or I'm struggling getting on there. I don't remember my K number, my pipeline login, because I was a dual enrollment student, I can't get on. Any of those issues, you can email any of us about that, and we will help you figure that out. You do not have to do this alone.
No. And we can like hop on a Zoom real quick, and you can share your screen, and we'll help troubleshoot it. But yeah, like, let us know, because there are ways to access that information. It's kind of like think of it as like your bank account. You wouldn't give up on your bank account and like just go start a new one. Like, we want to try and get into that information.
Right. One last question, unless more come in. If you're eligible to receive financial aid, what is that money used for if my tuition and everything is being provided by the Promise?
Great question. So the Promise is paying for your tuition, textbooks, and any required fees, right? But like, what if you need living expenses, right? Like maybe it'll alleviate you not having to have a job for that semester. Maybe you want to move out, that will pay for those expenses. Or maybe you save that money and you use it when you transfer to a four-year university, you create a savings account for yourself. So that money, any money you're awarded for financial aid, is yours to do with, right? And that's like not any strings attached, right? Like, it's still a requirement for you to continue on with those classes, to maintain a certain GPA. But if you're awarded money, you can use it to buy a computer for yourself, a new computer, use it for gas to come to campus. Those are expenses to help you be a successful student, and you can use it in any way that's going to help you be a successful student.
One thing I just want to reiterate is that if you are going to be, if you are a local high school student, the earliest that you can register is May 12th, but keep in mind that you need to complete all those steps to enrollment in order to be able to register on or after May 12th.
And our application workshops, Liz, are scheduled for when?
We're doing 2 per high school in February and 2 per high school in March. We also will.
Those are registration workshops?
We're doing,
Yeah.
registration workshops will be on and after May 12th. So we will have workshops on May 12th, and we will have workshops the following days on May 12th. I'm sorry, I thought you said application. Oh my God.
So for your goal is to really get all those steps done so you can register May 12th. Now, of course, if for whatever reason you don't, you can still register for classes, but you're not going to be able to register on May 12th when your registration opens up. So it is ideal to get them all done. All right, any more questions? They're great questions.
Is it possible to only be at City College for a year and a half if you already have enough credits?
Yeah, so for transfer for UCs, CSUs, most four-year universities, it's going to be 60 transferable units, right? Any way that you can get those 60 transferable units. So if you come in already with a lot of units, you need to just review with your academic counselor your academic goal and see where you are in regards to transfer. Some private schools even might have a lower unit acceptance. And so this is where it's really important to talk to an academic counselor and get that plan going. But coming in with credits does put you at that advantage of getting towards that 60 transferable units.
If anybody has any other questions, now would be the time to put them in the Q&A.
Or you can reach out to us at any time,
Exactly.
Get our emails done, phone, email, chat. You can come back to the session at 3 o'clock. Should something come up, like maybe you are wanting to apply right now and you have additional questions when 3 o'clock rolls around. All right, Liz, do we have any other questions?
I don't have any that have come in, no.
Okay. So we thank you so much for being here today. Again, cannot emphasize enough, reach out to us, especially during these times when we're not able to physically see you in person. We're so happy to help you virtually. And also just want to add one thing is that Liz and Mary Lou, they hold drop-ins on certain days, certain Fridays with each high school of our local high schools, and that information is on the local high school website. So you can just drop in there via Zoom, correct, Liz?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
We do have a couple more questions.
Okay. All right.
While you were talking.
Let's do it.
Is there any program that helps with money for housing?
So that would be financial aid, right? So you'd apply for financial aid, and then you any financial aid that you would get could go to your housing costs. So I would recommend you applying for whatever financial aid is available to you.
Christy, can you, which program do we apply to if we want to transfer to a 4-year after 2 years at CC?
Which student support program, or?
I think probably transfer program and tag.
Oh. Okay, yeah. So if your goal is to transfer to a 4-year university, it's super important that you're getting connected with a transfer center. So the transfer center is a department, but in the transfer center, there's the transfer achievement program. They have information on the transfer admission guarantee. They hold workshops on transfer. They held application workshops for when you're ready to apply to those 4-year universities. So it's if you're going to transfer, that's part of your goal, or if you didn't think that's your goal, super important you get connected with a transfer center. So you go to our website, sbcc.edu, search and just type in transfer center, and all that information for their website will come up, or email us and we will get you that link and connected to the transfer center, because there is transfer achievement program. And then there's one more program, right? I'm blanking on Liz.
CAP.
There's TAP. TAP and
CAP and TAG
TAP
or Transfer Academy.
Transfer Academy, that's what it is. There's Transfer Academy and there's TAP, which are both transfer programs, and we're happy to connect you with those programs that will help you transfer. And just to know, you don't have to be a part of those programs to transfer. You can transfer without being a part of those programs, but those programs are going to just help you facilitate that process. And we highly recommend you take advantage of any service that the Transfer Center is going to provide for you.
Christy, what if we graduate from a local high school, but move into another town in Santa Barbara County? Are we still eligible for the promise?
Yeah, the promise is not proximity to campus, right? That's great for this current when we're all online, but that might change in the future for you, right? If you decide to move to another city or out of state, because there may be a time when our classes are not primarily available online. Right. So we do have pre-COVID, we had a really robust online class offering. But you just want to keep in mind is that maybe a class for your major or a class that you need for transfer may not be available online to you. And it'd be something that you need to take on at campus. And generally speaking, like especially with our CTE programs, which some of them are approved to be in person because of just the nature of that program. So those classes for those specific programs are not offered online.
When can a student make a one-on-one appointment with a counselor?
So your first one-on-one appointment is going to be class planning. So first-time students cannot, you could always go to they have a virtual front desk. They have a chat feature. You can call them, email them, but just want to note you should email them from your pipeline email only. Academic counseling can only respond to pipeline emails. And so, but your very first kind of one-on-one experience is going to be class planning. And then what happens is that after the first 2 weeks of the semester, you're able to set up, any kind of appointment that you want. But for your first time as student status, class planning is going to be it. So as a first time student, you technically will not be able to set up a counseling appointment until 2 weeks after the fall semester starts, fall of 2021. But you can always contact, chat, email, and phone to just briefly talk to someone.
Christy, do we need to choose a major when applying? And if you could just kind of talk about, I'm sure you will, but the undecided, undetermined options and how we should not choose those.
Yes, so I would highly recommend you select any major. That does not tie you into anything. Like if you go in and you're like, I'm kind of interested in history, but then, a month later you decide you want to change it, you can change it. We do not recommend, we highly, highly, highly do not recommend choosing undecided or undetermined, because that impacts other things such as financial aid and registration date. So we want to make sure that you're having any kind of some sort of academic goal and some sort of major put on there. So we go through this in our application workshop and we tell you, please do not put undecided or no major, because it impacts other things. And so we recommend you choose something that you're interested in. And then we also just tell you that you can change it at any time.
So we are up to date.
Okay.
Let me just, yes. With questions. If anybody else has questions, now is the time to do it. Otherwise, take a picture or scan the QR code so that you have our contact information and you can reach out to one of us directly.
Yes. We thank you for coming. We're super excited that you came, and please contact us with any questions that you might have. All right, so I'm going to be ending the webinar now, Liz. We're good?
Great. Sounds good.
Okay, everyone have a fantastic day, and please email us if you have any other questions or concerns. All right, have a good one. Bye.
Bye, everyone.